Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. My name is Muhammad Isrizal bin Muhammad. My member is Muhammad Haji Haikal bin Halifi, Muhammad Najmi bin Muhammad Nizam, Muhammad Haris bin Mazlan dan Muhammad Daniel Fidra bin Ahmad. Today I want to tell you about operant conditioning theory. What is operant conditioning theory? Operant conditioning is a learning theory that can be used in the classroom to manage students through reinforcement and consequence. Learn the definition of operant conditioning and it relates concepts including positive, reinforcement and punishment, and look at the example in the classroom. What is the scenario I want to compare with operant conditioning theory? The scenario I want to share is a total of 20 people took science subject. This class is divided into two places, namely in the classroom and the laboratory. On the day of learning, students in the classroom did not have any problem because learning in the classroom did not occur any movement anywhere. The cause of the problem is when students do not come or arrive late to the science lab. This suggests that class leader need to play an important role in controlling student movement. The class leader asked the teacher to do not the learning in the classroom because he could not control the movement of the student. Reason why we choose this scenario. This situation always happen in school. The issue of the scenario were raised in meeting of teachers to discuss way to overcome the problem so that it does not recur again. This scenario allows us a teacher or student to self-discipline. Relate to theory and explain theory. What we can relate the situation with life modeling because students choose to make class in the classroom rather than in laboratory to avoid the occurrence of a decline in the student attendance. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Haji Haikal bin Halifi and my group members is Muhammad Nazmi bin Muhammad Nizam, Muhammad Daniel Firdaus bin Ahmad, Muhammad Yusrizal bin Muhammad Yusuf, and lastly Muhammad Haris bin Mazlan. Today I want to talk about my methodology. Methodology. Description of the observed participants' characteristic. In the above situation, students and teachers should play the right role in the classroom and laboratory, especially the class leader. First is class leader. The class leader should play the correct role and be able to control the movements of other students. As a prudent class leader, should assign proper roles and responsibilities to other students. For example, supervising and observing other students to always be present and ensuring other students to enter the classroom. In addition, the class leader must also be firm and brave. This is because to take care of other students is very difficult because of the number and behavior of students. By being firm and courageous, this helps the class leader to ensure that the classroom follow and comply with the instruction given. Furthermore, as a class leader, one must control emotion. For example, not easily upset and not easily touched. This will make the image of the classroom leader can be improved and students can follow the instruction easily because of the attitude of the class leader who is not easily upset and not easily touched. Finally, if the students cannot be controlled, the class leader can also inform the class teacher of the time and can give the teacher an idea so that the late student will be fined for the offense of coming late to the lab. Second is teacher. The teacher must be a role model to his students. To give the best to his students, should always give full attention to his student. To be a good teacher, one must become to face the consequence of students. For example, students come late to class and the teacher must be patient and think whether to give punishment or a warning. Do not raise your hand and voice. Next, the teacher must always observe the behavior of his students so that accidents can be avoided in the laboratory. In addition, the teacher should also be the voice of the class leader in order to facilitate the class leader in the laboratory and always listen to the expression of the class leader so that the attitude of students who do not enter the class can be curbed. Next, the description of the location or setting. The classroom atmosphere and environment should be clean because students can work safely and comfortably in the classroom or laboratory. The condition in the laboratory should also always be free from hazards so that students can avoid accidents. The arrangement of tables in the classroom must be arranged and according to KPM, Ministry of Education Malaysia. By the following the table arrangement, students can move and teacher can also reach students to see student activities. In addition, as the science teacher should know the number of students in the laboratory and in this class because by doing so the teacher can know the actual number of students attending class and absent students. With the help of the class leader, he can find out what are the reasons and causes of students not attending class and so on. Next, in class, we can also use teaching aids such as slides, presentations, videos, and so on. With the example given early, students will easily understand. Next, example of table arrangement in the classroom and in laboratory. The first picture is table arrangement in the classroom, and the second is table arrangement in the laboratory. Description on how data be collected. Data is collected based on what is written in article and book. What is written in the article and books is very helpful in solving the problem of students who do not like to enter the classroom. With enough articles, teachers can eradicate skipping this class.
So today we will present to you about the finding of the scenarios and operant conditioning. But before that, let me introduce myself first. My name is Muhammad Nazmi bin Muhammad Nizam. My metric number is A21HP0093. My team members are Muhammad Hazid Haika bin Nuhalipi, A21HP0090. Muhammad David Fidaus bin Ahmad, A21HP0083. Muhammad Yusrizal bin Muhammad Yusof, A21HP0107, and lastly is Muhammad Haris bin Mazlan, A21HP0064. So I will explain to you my part. My part is findings that we can get from these scenarios. Question number 1 is, how does a teacher reinforce positive or desirable behavior in class? The answer is, teachers need to set a good example such as entering the classroom early for the teaching and learning process to students so that they are aware and make the matter to be followed. People will be more punctual if the teacher becomes their follower to get into the classroom early. Question number 2. How does a teacher decrease undesirable behavior? So the answer for this question is, teachers needs to be more strict by giving warnings, and if the student are still late to go to study, appropriate fines should be given so that they are more sensitive and disciplined to follow the instructions given by the class leader. So lastly is, what are the challenges that you can identify when the teacher applies it? Among the challenges that will be faced is the behavior of students who are still stubborn to enter the classroom early. Next, the laziness of students to learn that will cause them to look crumbs to every class they have to attend. In addition, the influence of the students' peers who are not good, such as inviting them to skip class or enter the class late, that cause them to follow the method. So I will explain to you how the operant conditioning can be related to the scenario. Based on this scenario, students who are late to enter the laboratory according to the set time should be given a stern warning and appropriate fines if the student continue to do the same. The fines given are intended to make them aware that the act is wrong and disrupt the teaching and learning process between teachers and students. In addition, students will be more afraid to repeat the act to avoid being fined if they continue to commit the offense. So this coincides with the operant conditioning, which is about the assertiveness that needs to be done to create a peaceful atmosphere and to make the student to continue abide by to follow the rules that has been set. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Haris bin Mazlan and my team members Muhammad Nur Firdaus bin Ahmad, Muhammad Yusuf bin Muhammad Yusuf, Muhammad Nazmi bin Nizam, Muhammad Haziq Haikal bin Nur Halifi.
My name is Muhammad Haris bin Mazlan, and for my part is finding part B and reference. Finding part B. Operant conditioning is a learning theory that manages students through reinforcement and consequence in the classroom. Learn the definition of operant conditioning and its related concepts, including positive reinforcement and punishment, and see an example in class. For the reflection of operant conditioning, the importance of the theory to be implemented during the teaching session. Simplify the affair of teacher and students during the learning and teaching sessions. To produce students who are disciplined and trust for the responsibility assigned to them, that future students continue to trust and responsibility. Learning the time will run more smoothly without any problems. Students must always be consistent with the time given by students. Teacher needs to be more assertive so that the application can be applied by student. When the teacher is active, the student will be easy to get used to performing the assigned responsibilities. For reference, we have 6 reference for these reports. As you can see, the first 3 for our reference. And next, for the next another 3 reference we get by doing this report. I hope all the details given true and spread awareness for future teacher. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nur Firdaus bin Ahmad, and this is my group members. The first my group member is Muhammad Yusuf bin Muhammad Yusuf, Muhammad Nazmi bin Nizam, Muhammad Haris bin Mazlan, Muhammad Haziq Haikal bin Nur Halifi. Today, I want to share with you all about the conclusion of the scenario and operant conditioning. Operant conditioning theory can be used to change behavior. by either using positive or negative reinforcement. We can able to encourage or discourage a certain trait that we desire. The positive thing we can learn from this scenario is to discipline ourselves as a student or as a teacher. When we are self-disciplined, we are able to manage all the time even in desperate situation. It shows how professional us to manage the time. This is related to the theory of what we learn as a human being. For a student, we must have the nature of responsibility to learn. A student must follow the instruction from the class teacher. For example, when the teacher tells the student to enter the lab at the appointed time, the student must follow the teacher's instruction. This proves to have good ethical of the values. The second one is the important part in any operant conditioning learning is to recognize the operant behavior and the consequent result in that particular environment. As we can take as an example, for a teacher, his job is not just educate but to continue to guide students to continuous success. In relation to this scenario, it plays an important role for the teacher. For example, when it is found that the student does not enter the science lab, the first action or things need to do is give some advice to the student that say to them not to repeat the things again. Another incentive is a teacher to listen the student problem. For example, in this scenario, the class leader asked the teacher to exclude learning in the lab so as not the problem was repeat again. Last but not least, student make an overt response for a teacher to consider reinforcing such response. As a teacher needs to play an important role in balancing decision in order to make the right decisions. It is related to the theory of operant conditioning that occurs in the classroom through reinforcers that result from our action. When using operant conditioning in classroom, it is important to understand the difference between positive reinforcement and punishment. We can learn from this scenario. It is related with the syllabus what we learn. It is of the life modeling. As example that we can take from this scenario is facilitates the situation of the scenario of student to learn easily, and then we can avoid the occurrence of student problems. Another than that, we can improve a teacher's problem like solving skill, and then we can learn more to about the positive reinforcement, and then we can teach the student about their need to understand the punishment. At the end of this slide, I want to share with you all about the description about the reaction of the student and the teacher that I saw. Based on that observation, I could see the reaction of the student at the time is to be confused because some students felt lazy to go down to the lab to study. That was one of the student reaction we saw. And then another than that, the reaction of the teacher is that they feel angry, and I can see the anger of the teachers toward the student. So based on this life modeling, we can learn, and then we can take as an advantage that we must apply to another life.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Daniel Firdaus bin Ahmad. This is my individual reflection. The reflection of operant conditioning is a type of learning in that an action standard when followed by an incentive varies a behavior. There is a classical conditioning that we can learn from this scenario. Classical conditioning was important things because the theory about this is the process of repeatedly associating a previously neutral stimulus with an unconditioning. The most important thing, lesson thing is about the reinforcement and punishment that see how we as a teacher or student to handle the different situation. We can learn from the scenario that everyone must have a responsible attitude to improve themselves. What we can see that operant conditioning can make of our situation be strange, and it show how we handle the situation and manage it good as well to make the situation better. If the situation will be better, we achieve the good point for the reinforced positive things. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nazmi bin Muhammad Nizam, and this is my reflection. In my opinion, it's the best way to teach students to remain disciplined according to the instructions and rules that have been set. The fines given should be commensurate with the offense committed so that they feel afraid to do it again. The warnings and fines given are not to hurt or embarrass them, but to teach the pupils to continue to obey the instructions that have been given by the teachers or class leader. This will also make them more respectful of the person giving the instructions. In addition, they will be able to distinguish good or bad things to do in a situation where if they make a mistake, they will be subject to strict action, and at the same time will make the student continue to be sensitive in their every movement.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Yusrizal bin Yusuf. I want to tell you about my reflection. After the research I did, I gained new knowledge about produce the research report. I was also able to find out how to do the introduction, methodology, and so on found in the research report. I will apply this knowledge in my life so that I can use this knowledge in the future. I can also use this knowledge in the world or the integrated learning. Every assignment given by doctor is not only done casually, but in knowledge that is very useful to oneself, social, and also the country. I hope Dr. E give good help so that she can educate the next generation so that she can develop the country. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Haris bin Mazlan. This is my reflection. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because I have managed to complete the report assignment on time. I would like to say 1,000 thanks to my team members for helping to complete the assignment to the end. A lot I gained in terms of knowledge by doing a given report assignment. In terms of new knowledge or knowledge that is recalled, I learned what operant conditioning theory is, knowing the meaning and also example or situation that occur in the classroom between teachers and students. I also learned how to solve problems that occur in the classroom and the best way to deal with those problems. I would also like to thank Dr. Hadijah for successfully guiding many students to achieve the success that every student wants to enjoy, because all students are future teachers who will guide the next generation.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Zaika bin Alipi, and I want to share my individual reflection. I've gained a lot of knowledge about educational psychology this semester. There is a lot of information regarding operant conditioning in the report that my friend and I produced. I was able to successfully complete this report thanks to the excellent assistance I received from my friends and team members. I would want to express my gratitude to Dr. Hadijah for sharing a wealth of knowledge regarding educational psychology, much of which was learned through student conversation and inquiries. Additionally, all teachers will be able to enhance and reinvent the true nature of instruction with the use of this knowledge. Thank you for your time.